The thing about critical mistakes, sometimes we don't realize we're making them, especially when it comes to bikes. But simply discovering these mistakes can totally transform the way you ride and maybe even save your life. So in this video, I'm going to show you 5 critical mistakes most motorcycle riders don't realize they're making, and hopefully how to fix them. Starting with the first one. When a bike and a car meet at speed, it's not fun. You know that thing that happens when you're riding down the road and a car yeets itself in front of you, even as if you're not there? Yeah, that thing. And even though thinking ahead and anticipating hazards helps you avoid being hit by a car, sometimes it's not enough. This is because we might assume people have seen us, but they haven't. Defensive riding takes us to a whole new level. For the majority of drivers on the road, they're naturally looking for other cars to avoid, not bikes. Add this to the fact that they're physically more difficult to see. Well, you can never ever assume other drivers, riders, and even pedestrians have seen you, because they probably haven't. And you can't change that. Well, a loud exhaust will help, don't get me wrong. But the one thing we can change is how we anticipate others not seeing us. You're probably not thinking how much more likely motorcyclists are to die in a crash, but I'm going to tell you anyway. 29 times more likely to die in a crash. That stat alone means your every move and your life are worth the second and the third look. But sometimes, no matter how defensive your wife is when discussing anything, no matter how defensive we are when riding, sometimes there's no avoiding an accident. And that's why this next one is critical and is undoubtedly proven to help save your life.
It's too hot. I'll be careful. I'm only going for a short ride.
These are just a few of the excuses riders tell themselves and others to justify not wearing full gear. No matter the temperature, speed, or distance, the consequences of wearing a t-shirt and jeans will be far worse when you go down. It doesn't matter what the weather's doing, it should not dictate your safety. Plus, as soon as you get on your bike, it will probably start raining anyway. Or does that just happen to me? It also doesn't matter how long you're riding for. You can get into an accident at the first junction you come across, or the one 100 miles away. No matter the distance or how careful you are, sometimes it's out of your control. If someone's going to pull out on you at the last minute, there's very little you can do about it. But what you can do is wear good gear in case the worst happens. Okay, this next one seems stupid. It definitely is. But it can leave you stranded with no way to get home, cold, alone, and crying because you may never see your wife and kids again. Why? Well, you'll be stranded because your battery has unexpectedly run flat. I've done it, my dad's done it, you've probably done it. If not, you will do, unless you carry on watching this video and hit the like button. Most riders have done it, using the kill switch to stop the bike and then forgetting to turn it off at the key. Whether it's the headlights or just the clocks, or it's both that stay on, they're gonna draw power, and without your engine running and charging the battery, well, it will run flat. It's an easy habit to develop and an even harder one to lose. That beautiful bright red button right next to your hand, so easy to flip when you come to a stop. But the next thing you know, you've finished your lunch and you're excited to ride home, but your battery's dead and now you're stranded in the car park, crying. A good habit to start, turning the bike off at the key instead of the kill switch. One day, I'll do this, so I keep telling myself. Now you might be thinking to yourself, how the f*** is it December already? At least that's what I'm thinking. Riding alone is great. The bike feels nimble, it's really quick, you feel free. And you might want to share this experience with someone who is unfortunate enough to not have a bike in their life. So you come up with a great idea of taking them on the back. Unless you're anything like me and have deleted the rear foot pegs and seat for weight reduction. Riding with a passenger can be very rewarding, but passengers change the whole dynamic of riding, not only increasing the weight on your bike, but shifting its center of gravity. A common mistake people make is taking someone for a blast on their bike to ensure them that they're as cool as they say they are, but too soon. They haven't given themselves enough time to practice and grow confidence in their own riding ability. And even if they have, taking a passenger can be really odd at first. Just take it slow, build up a confidence to avoid hurting the both of you. This next one is only an honourable mention. I couldn't leave it off the list because it's easily the mistake that I make the most. No matter how many times I tell myself, I still forget. I don't know if it's illegal, I wouldn't imagine so, but it definitely isn't safe. Imagine this. You're riding down the road and you have an accident. A vehicle one, not a in your pants one. You're hoping your helmet will protect you, right? I mean, I would. Paid a lot of money for that thing. It's shiny and it has all the right stickers on the back. It's got you. Well, it will unless it falls off because you forgot to do up the chin strap for the 12th time this week. You know that little buckle thing that you can't quite do up with your gloves on, but you're too lazy and impatient to stop, take your gloves off and do it up before carrying on with your day? Yeah. That guy. It might seem trivial, but it won't when you're sliding down the road headfirst towards a lamppost and your helmet overtakes you. You'll be thinking, should have done that guy up. It won't be much use if it's not on your head. Get into a habit of checking it before you set off. And in the meantime, if you keep forgetting, be disciplined enough to stop and do it up. Lastly, and arguably the most important one, the one thing that we all do at some point, and it's when bikes get the better of us. There's no doubt about it. Riding a bike makes you feel incredible. It's empowering, thrilling, and makes you feel free. But riding beyond your skill level or overriding the conditions is one of the most common mistakes even experienced riders make. Unfamiliar roads and bends, rain, wind, traffic, all of these things pose serious dangers if you're riding too fast and aggressive. We all get carried away sometimes. It can even feel euphoric, but like anything, there's a time and a place. If it's raining or the tires are cold, you know that you've got less grip, so act accordingly. If you're riding on new roads and you don't know what's around the corner, should you really assume that it's clear? Or should you ensure if anything untoward is around that bend, that you have enough time between seeing it and hitting it to stop? Becoming a fast rider takes time, patience, and practice. It's not happening overnight. Riding within your capabilities will ensure you're keeping it safe and fun. So there you have it. Some common mistakes I know I've made in the past. Definitely loads of other ones. Let me know some down in the comments. And fixing these mistakes is only half of the battle, because not only is riding for yourself critical, but riding for your bike is just as important, as it might just avoid irreversible damage. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you in this video here, where we look at common RPM mistakes that you might be making.